1,000 years ago, this river was central to the lifestyle of prehistoric Indians known as the Mimbres. The beauty of the surrounding desert and nearby mountains, named the Floridas by Spanish explorers centuries later, must have been awe-inspiring, as it still is today. While the Mimbres eventually abandoned this southwestern corner of New Mexico, they left behind a rich cultural legacy, painted inside simple clay bowls. Throughout history, the Mimbres River has been vital to different tribes who have hunted here, to traders and settlers passing by on their way to Mexico or heading ever westward. The Butterfield Trail, our first transcontinental stage route, which crossed here, and Fort Cummings, established at Cook Spring to protect its travelers. Then came the most dramatic change of all, the Iron Horse. Officials of Southern Pacific Railroad decided to locate a town near the waters of the Mimbres River. They named it Deming. In 1881, when rails of the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe met Southern Pacific coming west, a silver spike was driven in Deming, marking the completion of a southern transcontinental route. The town rapidly became a cosmopolitan center, with mercantile, hotels, banks, schools, and churches. Fred Harvey's magnificent hotel, built next to the downtown depot, became a center of social activity. Today, rail is still vital to Deming, moving passengers and produce from southwestern New Mexico throughout the country. But the interstate highway system has replaced it as the main connection east and west. More than 7 million vehicles pass by Deming each year, and those who exit here will find a thriving, modern community. At an altitude of 4,300 feet, the average daily temperature is mild throughout the 4 seasons. While much altered from its early days dominated by railroad, Luna County still boasts clean air, easy proximity to an abundance of spectacular scenery, and friendly people.
In Deming, one can look in any direction and see 5 days into next week. No obstruction to your view. The people are wonderful. And of course, they've been very good to me. I have been asked, where are you going to move to now that you're both retired? And I don't know what to answer them except to say, why move?
The wide open spaces of the Southwest have always had broad appeal, but especially for the cowboy. Ranching remains an important part of the economy, but agriculture has become the leader, with Luna County ranking as the top producer of popular New Mexican chili. More than 40,000 acres are under production annually for both green and red chili, while cotton, onions, and potatoes are also grown in abundance. Special events like the Rockhound Roundup in March and the annual Great American Duck Races during the 4th weekend in August attract thousands of visitors into the community each year. Golfing at the 18-hole community course is a favorite activity year-round, but especially during the sunny winter months when snowbirds arrive, filling the numerous RV campsites and trailer parks. Some visitors come as passengers on Amtrak's Sunset Limited, en route from Florida to California. With the international border only 33 miles away, day trips into Old Mexico are a popular pastime. While the Deming Luna County Mimbres Museum touts the area's fascinating past, the city, with a population of 15,000, is proud of its thoroughly modern facilities, including a newly renovated municipal airport, a 49-bed acute care hospital, and a very active senior center, where volunteers have as much fun as those they are serving, indicating Deming's special attention to geriatrics and a growing retirement community. The Garcia Civic Center is in constant use for community events, trade shows, receptions, and banquets, like this company Christmas party for the hospital. Deming Public Schools are among the best in the state and feature innovative programs and teaching at every grade level. Perhaps most remarkable about this community is the people who live here. From natives to newcomers, young and old, Anglo, Hispanic, or one of many other nationalities represented. Their sense of pride in the past and their mutual goals for a better future. Deming and ducks. Well, they just seem to go together, like peas in a pod.
No, the duck race pulls a lot of people into the community. It's the fourth weekend of August every year, and it's a moneymaker for the community.
Strictly foolishness. This was just an idea that happened over beer. And it grew and grew and grew.
It just goes nationwide every year because it's such a wacko idea. The AP picks up on it. Good Morning America loves it. You know, it gives Deming a lot of notoriety just for ducks.
But then they all came out at the same time. Oh, let the judges look at that photo finish, make sure they got it correctly.
The track was designed, and it was just a 16-foot long track where they held the duck inside, and I just had to decide how to say go, how to decide who won the race. And I kind of knew it was easy because no one ever done it before, so no matter what I said was the rule. So it really wasn't real difficult for the first year. And it got a lot more difficult over the years. We ended up, it went from a 4-lane track to an 8-lane track. We put in starting gates, we put in photo timers, we put in a photo finish eventually. It got real serious because the money got big.
Mikey, can you believe we won 200? Yes. Are you?
It's an old idea. After 20 years, you'd think people would quit coming, but they don't. I'm not even sure we'd have to publicize it, and they would come. They would just show up. It still brings in, 10,000 people. That's a lot of people in this side of the town.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Deming may be famous for its ducks, but it's equally well known for rocks. A rock hunter's paradise. Deming has its own Gem and Mineral Society, which sponsors the annual Rockhound Roundup in March, drawing enthusiasts from all over the country. Free and open to the public, Rockhound events include daily field trips to surrounding areas, including Rockhound State Park, just 12 miles southeast of Deming. Here, perhaps, is the only place in the country where visitors are encouraged to pick up and take home rocks.
Well, this is manganese, and I didn't have any of it, a few specimens, and it's just something different from my collection. And I'll keep for a long time.
Among the treasures to be collected are thunder eggs, which contain colorful agate and geodes, which can be split to reveal crystals inside. There are also opal, jasper, and manganese, and other treasures waiting to be discovered. Among the most beautiful local events is the annual 10th Street Luminaria display in December, when the community gathers to share holiday greetings and to extend good cheer for the coming new year. Luna County has several parks within its boundaries, including the spectacular City of Rocks. The rocks of this unique park were formed more than 1 million years ago during a major volcanic eruption. Over time, wind and water have eroded the softer rock, leaving these parts of the volcanic core rocks exposed in this dramatic fashion, reminiscent of a cityscape.
There's water within 45 minutes from here. You can be to a good-sized lake and ski or fish or whatever you want to do. And we're close to the mountains.
Gila Wilderness, the largest wilderness area in the country, is only 60 miles from here. You can go up there and just not literally get lost, although you could, but you can get away from people for weeks at a time.
Just 35 miles south of Deming on the Mexican border is Pancho Villa State Park, where today beautiful cactus gardens now cover the spot where the Mexican guerrilla leader killed American military and civilians at Camp Furlong on March 6, 1916. The surprise raid made headlines around the world and left the Columbus military outpost in smoldering ruins. Today, several buildings from that era still stand in Columbus. Here, visitors can easily cross into Mexico at Palomas, either on foot or by automobile. Wherever you look in southwestern New Mexico, the beautiful Floridas Mountains are the dominant physical feature, changing with the seasons and the light.
There's some of the most beautiful scenery, that landscapes. It's just, it's gorgeous. When you think of the desert, you don't think that it's going to be beautiful, but you fall in love with the desert. You really do.
Not only do we have charming weather and very nice weather, but we have charming people. And if you move to Deming and you ask them or show any interest in them and their community, you are accepted immediately and become one of them.
Long before Luna County received federal designation as an enterprise community, economic development had been a prime goal of community leaders. The county's Economic Development Corporation has been promoting programs to encourage business startup and relocation since 1972. The Deming Industrial Park offers easy access to the interstate, rail, and the airport. But the recent enterprise designation allows the community to implement its own economic development plan, while providing tax incentives to attract new business, help existing businesses expand, create jobs, and provide affordable housing. Partnerships are created between all levels of government, private business, and community residents to bring new economic life to southwestern New Mexico.
Deming's a very unique community in that they like to work together so well, and they have accomplished a lot of things that probably other communities have not, just because they criticize themselves. Let's say they look at an issue, a problem they have, and they put their heads together and they work on it, and they conquer it. They're very successful at that. First of all, we're going to see a lot of growth in retired people moving here, but they also bring a lot of knowledge and culture with them, and especially with the new little Votech College coming in, I see a bright future.
John Strand, longtime city manager, agrees.
We do expect some growth with the designation of the enterprise community, and so hopefully that'll provide some employment to keep some of the local youth at home, as well as bring in more expertise and maybe some higher paying jobs for the community. I think it's something that'll be a very important step in the history of Deming that changes and what it's going to bring about in the next 10 years.
The enterprise designation makes Luna County eligible for special economic assistance from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. An extended growing season is attractive to many newer businesses, such as this local winery, which finds the climate ideal for producing grapes. Cattle ranching remains a vital part of the economy in Luna County, and stock auctions are held each week at southwestern New Mexico State Fairgrounds, site of the annual fair held each October.
Oh, the bank is a partner in the community. It's a big part of the community, especially a rural community like this. Everybody has a banking need. We sit down and talk to people. We just don't look at just the credit and say yes or no. We get into people's lives. We want to know what they're doing, give them a chance. That's part of the fun of banking. You know, it's just not a cut and dry deal. It's how can we help somebody. You know, and it's great to drive out and say, you know, I helped make that business, and that's the fun part about banking.
Proximity to Mexico with port of entry only 35 miles away provides great opportunity for some businesses.
Estoy contenta de estar en Deming porque me ha abierto muchas puertas, me ha dado la oportunidad de crecer en mi negocio. Pienso que ahorita la comunidad hispana en Estados Unidos cada día somos más fuertes. Me encanta vivir en Deming porque es un pueblo chiquito y puedes ir a todas partes en un día.
The Chamber works together with business owners, the city, and the county to promote business opportunity throughout the area. cooperation happens at many levels.
We just work very hard together to accomplish what we need to do. Consequently, we're a growing community, and it's becoming a nicer community all the time.
The growth that is expected in the near future is dependent on this kind of community spirit and cooperation. The future looks good for Deming.
I do my best thinking horseback. I mean, if I really want to think deeply about something, I can get horseback and my mind starts turning. Riding comes automatically. It's just like maybe if you were going to take a walk to get your thoughts straight. Well, I take a ride and get my thoughts straight. And it's therapeutic, real therapeutic. It's not a hard life. It's a physical, demanding life, but I like it. And I think everybody that does it likes it because you make your own decisions, you do what needs to be done. You don't have somebody looking over your shoulder all the time. You're responsible, for everything that happens. There's one person to blame, and that's yourself. So
I think you become more appreciative of what's around you, and you see beauty in things that other people might not notice. It's just the culture that I really think is neat. Riding behind a herd and I just think of what it was back in the old days.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the fact that we were able to stay and live through the hard times and enjoy the good times. There's been a lot more good times than bad in my lifetime. We couldn't live without Deming because we need a place to sell what we grow and we need a place to buy the things we need. It's just big enough to have everything I need and not so big that it's a problem.
Deming has grown in the last 20 years, good growth, really very slow but solid. When the rest of the country's in a recession, Deming still plods right along. It doesn't seem to hit here. The county and the city have really planned well. Every time that they see a weakness, they turn it into a strength. This town has changed in the last 20 years, unbelievably, but yet it's still a small town, a great atmosphere.
A lot of the people that we get here come from the cold states, Michigan, Minnesota, wherever, and they're looking to get away from the snow. And you get some people here from California and even sometimes retirees who have originally retired in, say, Phoenix or Tucson, and all of a sudden those have gotten too big. We have some newer communities that offer both smaller and larger homes. We have one area that it was developed specifically for people who want to park their motorhomes in their garages. We have another area that's a patio home community that's a retirement or adult community. Our property taxes are good here, very, very good. There's lots of land there. If you want to be out by yourself, you can be there, or if you want to be in a close-knit community, you can be there. So you have some people that want to see things happen here, and you have some people that take pride in their community. People coming in from other areas help us come up with some new ideas and make us realize some of the things we're maybe short on, and it's just real important that everybody get involved in the community. But I do think we have a good sense of community here.
Just a great, neat town. Weather is nice year-round, and love the climate. The people here are real friendly. People stay here, and they were on their way someplace else, and they get here and they say, "This is nice," and they look around, and then they come back and they're just sold on Deming. I think Deming will grow but never lose its small town atmosphere and friendliness.
Here comes the Wildcat. How about a good hand for Deming Wildcat? Go back there, quick, quick!
Deming's historic past is highly prized by the community. As the smallest town in New Mexico to have its own historic landmark commission, Deming has many properties within the commercial district that retain their historical significance, representing a wide variety of architectural styles and uses.
There's just something about looking at the old buildings and seeing the past. Deming lost a lot of theirs when the interstate came through. Some of the neater buildings were right there. And yeah, I think preserving those, not just here but everywhere, I think is really important.
16 of these are on the State Historic Register and 4 on the National Register of Historic Places. Among the most interesting of the historic buildings is the Deming-Luna County Memories Museum, located in the old armory built in 1916, and the Adobe Custom House just across the street, both run entirely by volunteers.
I think that's the thing that is really unique about this museum is it does not focus on one particular thing. We have some antiques and beautiful china and pottery. We have a doll collection with the Old Timers Room, which displays a wonderful collection of old photographs. We have the cowboy exhibit, which has a lot of history, the chuck wagon and historic and beautiful saddles. We have quite a few vehicles. We have military room. So we just have a lot of different things. We have a really incredible collection of whiskey bottles. And generally when you say that to people, they just sort of yawn until they go and look at it and then just think, well, this is incredible, I can't believe it. Basically, the entire collection came from one man who lived here in Deming.
The museum's military room features fascinating photographs and memorabilia of historic military campaigns, ranging from early days at Fort Cummings, the first walled fort in New Mexico territory, to General Pershing's punitive expedition into Mexico to capture Pancho Villa after his unprovoked attack on Columbus. Pershing's 11-month foray into the wilderness of Chihuahua was unsuccessful in capturing Villa, but as the first U.S. military operation to employ mechanized vehicles and airplanes, it was valuable preparation for World War I. Camp Cody, established by the War Department on 2,000 acres outside of Deming, trained 30,000 men for the war. It later became a tuberculosis sanitarium operated by the Catholic Sisters of the Holy Cross and was destroyed by fire in 1939. During World War II, 5,000 bombardiers were trained at the Deming Army Air Force Base, located at the site of today's municipal airport. The Deming National Guard was called up and sent to the Philippines, where many Luna County Guardsmen were participants in the infamous Bataan Death March. Today, many newcomers to Deming have a connection to its military past. Some were stationed here during World War II, while others had fathers, uncles, or other relatives who trained in Deming during the war and are finally returning to a place they've heard about for many years.
In other places where you volunteer, there's professional staff and there's volunteers. And so it's, you're just two different categories of people. And here, everybody's a volunteer. And we have about, generally between 70 and 80 volunteers. They come from different backgrounds and different professions, and so there's a lot of talent and a lot of skills in that many people.
Luna County's historic past has always been appreciated and enjoyed by those who live here, but it is also a major drawing card for the community.
I think for so long we just took it as part of our life. We didn't think anything about it. Now we're realizing that there is a lot of history here, and that is valuable to people. They are interested because they come in to look for it.
It's not necessarily the things of great value that they're so interested in. It's part of their own history too.